Side Radio. It is a Tuesday. I don't know if in your house it's a Taco Tuesday. Who knows? I'm Amy Beth. She's the Allison Sinclair, and there's the JP. How are you good folks today?
You know, it actually is Taco Tuesday in my house. I don't know how you knew, but we have tons of Taco Mama left over that we will be eating until 2026.
I love Taco Mama.
So that is what we are doing today.
What's your family Taco Mama order?
Okay. I kind of cheat the system. Everybody listen up. I like to get the steak burrito and then get all the stuff inside, because with the burritos, see, I don't eat the outside, the tortilla, but with the burritos, you get a side instead of just getting a bowl. So, and then I get a side of queso.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
What do you get, JP?
I'm not a Taco Mama guy. I'm a Taco Casa guy.
Oh, you have made that clear.
JP, that's disgusting.
What do you love about Taco Casa?
The hot chicken burrito with some of the best hot sauce I've ever had. And then the queso beefy nachos with, they put the beef in the queso.
Ooh, like a dip.
Yes.
Queso beefy nachos.
I get one hot chicken burrito and then a little plate of the queso beefy nachos, and their ice and their Dr. Pepper are all sodas. It's the good ice.
Oh, it is a good ice? Okay.
So
Milo's ice?
Yes. Let me just say, the one thing I missed leaving Tuscaloosa was Taco Casa. But now I'm in Birmingham and there's a Taco Casa. I mean, it's a bit of a drive, but worth it.
Where?
It's in Homewood, I believe.
Wait, are you telling me what side of Homewood? Is it on the Wildwood side of Homewood?
It's got to be like Green Springs.
I don't know exactly, but it's in like a hub, like a shopping.
Google this one.
Like a.
Oh, we need to know right now.
Oh yeah,
no,
now I'm starving.
You don't, because it's just. I mean, maybe it's because I'm not a Bammer. Oh yeah, it's in Wildwood.
Of course, it's in Wildwood.
Yep.
You can go to Sam's Club and get you some nachos at the same time.
Just living the dream.
Yep.
Living the dream.
Okay, so Taco Casa.
For sure.
Taco Mama.
They want to advertise. Hey.
I'll take their money.
Absolutely no problem. Send it in.
What's your taco? Do you like Mexican?
I love Mexican, and I get shamed for my order, but it's fine. I usually get fish tacos everywhere I go.
Why is that shameful?
Well, because everybody looks at me when we go to any Mexican restaurant and they're like, "Are you going to eat your fish tacos?" Yes, I am. I am in this search for the world's best fish taco.
Speaking of fish.
But I also love all tacos.
That was gross, what you sent.
Did you put that in the montage?
It's not in the montage, no.
Allison, what?
Okay. So remember the other day I told you that when Steve Marshall went up with Tuberville and Trump to the the hearing, and I was trying to think of what Steve Marshall said Trump ate, and I said the filet of fish sandwich. Well, apparently Trump went and spoke at the McDonald's corporate retreat or something.
Summit, yeah.
He said he liked the fish. He told everybody in the room the fish was his choice, but we needed a little more tartar sauce on there.
Yeah.
JP, am I understanding that we each sent the Prez, the former fry cook in chief, on separate days, but we sent you the same clip?
Yeah, on separate days.
Is that the Holy Ghost telling you maybe we should include that in the montage?
I meant to, and I forgot. I actually did. I saw that, and I was going to put it in there for comedic relief, but I completely forgot. But I can pull up the clips, and then we can play it.
You know what? I think instead we should put the president for the days where he does good things, and we can celebrate him saying the former fry cook. You know, I don't know where that would fit in.
First president that was a McDonald's fry cook.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And because we all remember, because Mamala didn't actually work. And the girl who worked at McDonald's said, that's actually me. Anywho, I just think that's interesting that we are sending JP, speaking of clips,
the same thing.
If y'all don't send me the exact same clip, you normally send me a very similar, same topic, maybe same event, different clip. Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's fine. I do need to let you guys know, and I'm going to be very upset if the next time you open your X or Insta,
okay,
if this is on there.
Is or isn't?
I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
from Shein,
Shein.
a burqa.
Shein.
Shein, whatever.
Shein.
Shein. I got a burqa. They were trying to sell me a burqa for the 2 minutes that I was on there. That was in my feed.
Well, that happened to our friend, remember? And she
Yes.
had the whole thing. So apparently burqas and hijabs are flying off the shelf at Shein.
Mm.
It's weird in America that we are getting these ads. It's weird in Shelby County that we are getting a Muslim coffee shop just right down the street. The coffee shop actually began in Dearborn, Michigan. Now, Abs, you tell me that they make really good coffee. I guess it's Yemeni coffee.
Legend has it, it's where coffee came from.
But I think that's how they're trying to woo us over. And remember when Allie called in and said they have the Mecca strategy?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Coffee is part of the Mecca strategy, where they're really nice and they try and win us over with their Yemeni coffee and their deliciousness, but we cannot go in. But I just think it's bizarre that in North Shelby County, we are getting a Muslim-run coffee shop. Weird.
I probably shouldn't be the one talking because I still drink from a company that
You're basically
You
a
know what? And
liberal.
I'm having to
Because
drink
it's
that
so good.
today
it's great.
because it's all we have.
So good.
Do not say the name.
I
No.
won't.
Mm-mm.
You
We
will.
would. Hey, we take big coffee sponsors, by the way. So thank you in advance, you who might be considering. Just not that coffee
Just
company
not the
by our
ones that
house.
hate conservatives.
No, or that
We
want to
will not
put
sell
us
our
in
souls.
clothes that we will absolutely not be wearing. We are in our prime, okay, but we are too hot, physically sweaty, to put any of that on. Absolutely not.
That's where I put my foot down.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how they do it all day, every day. Real quickly before we go to a break, I do have a puppy update.
Oh, thank you.
Real quick.
How's
So
Banks?
yesterday I had to walk out because the vet was calling, and basically she told me he's dying. She said, your options are this plasma treatment that is going to cost millions of dollars, or you can euthanize him. And I'm like,
Oh, good grief. Wait, you didn't. What?
well, I had to come back and do a show, and I'm very professional. So I came back and did a show.
Wow.
Yeah, she basically said, it's not good. He won't make it. And then she proceeded to shame me for actually getting him from a breeder. And I'm like, woman, it is not the time nor the place. Anyway, he received the plasma treatment. We were like, we've already spent $5,000. What's another $2,000? And I think he's turned a corner. We went by yesterday and today, and he was standing up and he was drinking, and we're not all the woods, but he made it through the night. And after talking to that wretched vet woman yesterday, I didn't think he would. But he's good. And I've got some videos I can show y'all.
Oh,
I have a question, if I may.
Yes, you have a question.
And I know we're delaying a little bit our montage because we have a friend calling, which is great. And then we have another great caller today with a bunch of news that you're going to want to talk about. Why in the world are we shamed for buying dogs from well-established, excellent breeders? Why?
I think vets probably do see a lot of bad conditions and bad situations with a lot of these puppy mills and breeders. That is not who we purchase Banks from. But I think they probably have a little bit of a bias for that. She just told me that we should have gone to the shelter. I guess insinuating that shelter puppies don't have parvo.
And they're superior, apparently.
And then she told me that she even had guilt for paying Adopt a Golden, that she paid that fee to adopt a Golden, that felt wrong. And I said, no, actually, I have 2 adopted children that I paid a lot of money for, but it was a really good thing. I mean, I was about to cry over her telling me you can euthanize your dog. And then she starts just going in how we shouldn't. So kind of shut that down. But man, people have strong opinions about breeders. And I told her, I said, we have 4 kids. And so for temperament and history, we are more comfortable with breeds that we know their temperament. We know how to train them. We know. She just continued to shame me.
I that's so uncalled for. A, B, right in the middle of your distress, and C, get whatever dog you want to get. Like, what happened to being free to choose what you want? I that's happened to me several times because on our situation, it doesn't matter, but my husband and my children are extraordinarily tall. We do not want dogs that are going to bite our hand and we don't know. And so Chris has a dog. He really likes this, and it's a great dog. And it's also a giant dog because I married a very tall man. But it doesn't matter. But I have gotten that several times from different vets. And these are people that I like, but could you just save it? I mean, really save it. Get the dog you want to get, period. And if you want to choose to raise awareness about a puppy mill, whatever that means, please do so. But that also implies that the pounds are the only perfect places to get animals from. Can that not also be a bad place, or are they only perfect and holy? I don't understand that. Get them from where you want to get them. We've gotten plenty of cats from the pound, and they run off anyway. But that part, when you told me that part, in addition to your distress, I was like, save it.
It just was ill-timed. That's what I'll say. It wasn't the time to lecture me. So we've got to go to a break. When we come back, we will hear from Jared Hudson, who is running for U.S. Senate. He's doing an event in Auburn tonight, Turning Point event. He'll tell you all about that. And then after Jared, we'll have the montage, which is packed full of some really good news. So you don't want to miss it. You're listening to Rightside Radio. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Rightside. I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP. We have a guest on the phone, Allison Sinclair.
Jared Hudson, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Before we begin, I just have to know if you've got your boiled peanuts ready to go for this interview.
No, I don't have any boiled peanuts today.
Man, I thought it was going to be a tradition.
I'm not in Gulf Shores right now. That's where I always get my boiled peanuts from. When I go down, I always stop and get some for the road. And then one of the folks we were working with down there had been making them at his house, and I just couldn't stop eating them.
Are you Cajun or just regular?
I normally do a mix. I think you asked me this last time. I normally do a mix because if you eat Cajun, it gets so hot you can't even, you can't smell nothing but Cajun in your nose. And if you just do the regular, it just ain't got that zap that you need to make them good.
And then if you get just Cajun
Zap.
and you touch your eyeballs,
Ooh,
it hurts. So
Yeah, just
you
don't touch your eyes.
are going to Auburn tonight and speaking at a Turning Point event. How are you feeling about Turning Point right now? And what are you seeing and hearing from students about them kind of taking up the banner of Charlie Kirk and moving it forward?
Yeah, well, I mean, number one, I've always liked Turning Point. Charlie Kirk was one of those, I'd sit there in bed at night or something when you're laying there scrolling through YouTube shorts or whatever it is, or TikToks or whatever people do. I used to watch a lot of his shorts and a lot of his, debates or interviews or questions on campus. And I've really got to where I liked his organization. My good friend Riley Gaines, she started working for him. I've got quite a few friends that are on their security team at Turning Point and have worked there for a long time. So a lot of connections there. And I've just always really liked their organization. Obviously, they've blown up over the last couple of years. And
oh dear. We lost Jared.
He might still be there, or is he gone?
Try again. I think he may be back.
Hey, Jared.
can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
now
back
we
now.
can.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, I was rattling through some stuff.
Well,
What
you're
did I
going to
end
have to
with?
start over. You were talking about Riley Gaines and some of your friends that are on his
Yeah, no,
security team.
Yeah, so I've got buddies on the security team. Yeah, I've been on the security team at Turning Point for a long time. I've been friends with Riley Gaines for a while, and she's, on the Turning Point team. And just honestly been really impressive to see them grow over the last however many years it is. And as sad as it is to say, the death of Charlie Kirk was really something that caused the movement that he was a part of, this Christian conservative movement, to bloom. I've heard people say he's a Christian martyr. He's a political martyr, but his politics were driven by his Christian values. So as a Christian man myself, and y'all know how I feel, I share the gospel everywhere I go, or at least try to. I really appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that what he believed politically, it was driven by what he believed eternally, and that was ultimately in the person of Jesus Christ. I just hate to see that he had to lose his life for it to really awaken a lot of people. But in his death, his legacy lives on, and that's a pretty powerful thing to see.
What do you plan on talking? I mean, it'll be primarily students tonight. What's your message to the younger generation?
Yeah, so generally speaking, when I talk at Turning Point events, I'll talk specifically about what we do at Covenant Rescue Group and human trafficking, and the reality of what human trafficking actually looks like, right? We always, when we see the movie Taken, we hear about the Jeffrey Epstein stuff all the time, but, what's the reality of it for most of these college kids at Auburn? The reality is that it's happening right next door to them, that it's not something that's happening in a distant land somewhere or some nefarious individual on an island. Those things do exist, but it's happening right here at your home. And actually, we've worked in Opelika and Lee County quite a few times. Lee County still holds the record for the most attempted human trafficking arrests in the state. I think it was 18 over a 24-hour period.
Word.
You actually, if you'll remember, my niece was really thankful but upset because her nail technician that she would go to in Auburn, one of your operations actually picked him up, which is terrifying because apparently he is who all the Auburn girls went to. So what you're doing is worthwhile. And like you say, it's not just in New York City. It's not just in these big cities. It's in Opelika and Auburn. And so it is a great organization. Tell me about tonight, what time and where, if people want to come join.
Yeah, it's tonight at 1800. So 6 p.m. My wife gets mad when I say the hours.
I can't
6
do that
p.m.
math.
at Louder 125.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Jared, thanks for joining us. Good luck tonight. Thank you for all you do with Covenant Rescue and the time. I know you're busy these days. So thanks for joining us. And we'll catch up soon about the Senate race.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on, ladies. Y'all have a good evening.
Thanks, Jared. You're listening to Rightside Radio, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Rightside. What is that song, JP?
Cat
Scratch Fever. Ted Nugent.
Dun-dun-dun.
I actually had a kid who got cat scratch fever. Anyway,
Oh, what
really?
is it with us and animals?
The things don't go well.
No.
Do you
I'm
think it's the
pretty
Lord
sure-
telling us to just lay off of it all?
Yeah. Yeah. Probably, but we're not going to.
I don't know. It's more fun to be able to have pet stories.
Makes for good
At least
radio.
At least we're not lame.
At least we haven't just like given up in life. We're still trying new things and putting ourselves out there with puppies and chickens. Yeah.
I can't even talk about the chickens. That's someday I'm going to go home and the rest of them are going to be dead.
It'll probably happen. It's the circle of life, and chickens are notoriously vulnerable, but it's okay.
Thank you, Allison.
By the way,
You're not a bad mom.
I don't want to go on this rabbit hole, but have you seen Massey? He calls it a Crooks capacitor for his because he literally lives off the grid, and he has a bunch of chickens. He has a farm, and he built like this thing around the chickens with wheels and a solar powered thing, and every couple, I don't know, it's like every 30 minutes it moves like
So they
several
have
feet.
new grass?
So no, they're under it in the grass, but it moves to keep them out of their own poop because that's where they get, sick.
Yeah.
So it's solar powered. It just moves on its own. So he doesn't have to be there to move
Physically
the chicken.
move it.
It's brilliant.
It's crazy.
He should patent that and
He
sell it.
should. Yeah.
I wish I could lift mine up, and I've got wheels on one side. Anywho,
He could keep up with insider trading if he sold those. Good.
all right. So before we get to JP's miracle montage, which we've all been waiting for, let us remind you about attorney Stan McDonald, partner at the law firm of Wilmer Lee. He's a 30-year veteran in the practice of law in North Alabama. Not only will Stan advocate and fight for your legal needs and rights, but he's been an absolute warrior for causes near and dear to our Rightside ruffian community. Attorney Stan McDonald has represented his clients in literally thousands of real estate transactions over the years. When Stan McDonald is on your side, you will have no greater friend. Likewise, your adversary will have no greater foe. And we like it that way. Attorney Stan McDonald at the firm of Wilmer and Lee is an America First family man and an attorney who's vigilant for those he represents. You can call him today at 256-533-0202 and tell them you heard about it on Rightside Radio. And now, JP, stand by for news.
Black for news.
40% of the population of rent-controlled housing in New York City are foreign-born. Think about that. In one of the largest metropolitan areas in the world, 40% of rent-controlled properties are being lived in by people who weren't even born in the country? What kind of system is this?
I think you have CDL mills, these private businesses that are allowing people to get commercial driver's licenses without having the requisite skill set to actually get on. I mean, they can drive school buses, they can drive oil tankers on our roadways. They don't know what they're doing, but they're being pushed forward by these CDL mills. On top of that, Lori, you're supposed to be able to speak English in America. You have to be proficient in the English language. A lot of these people can't even speak the language.
Microsoft founder Bill Gates is the largest private owner of American farmland. Gates alone holds over 275,000 acres across 19 states.
Right now, we're getting bullied by China and people like Bill Gates who are coming in to our area. And you spoke about China. They come into these auctions and they have someone bidding for them. They're buying these farms at auctions, running the prices through the roof with no oversight from this administration.
No.
Crooks appeared to have an interest in furries and was exploring gender identity. He described himself with the pronouns they, them on the platform DeviantArt, which is one of the biggest online hubs for furry art and furry community. They want little children like Thomas Crooks or Tyler Robinson to be absorbed into this ideology because it is, of course, the polar negative of God, what God intended.
I need to start.
I knew that part would get you.
I need to begin this. What the hell county is furry art?
I don't even.
Sounds like fart.
I'm still. It's true, but I'm still trying to wrap my brain around that because we dealt with this a couple years ago in Shelby County schools, Oak Mountain, in Mountain Brook and other places around the state. Now there's furry art, and now we come to find out, in a surprise, said no one ever, that Thomas Crooks, the shooter, was engaged in. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Allison, do
Really?
not look up furry art.
I just chat GPT'd. What is furry art?
Allison.
It's okay. It's not that bad.
Really?
It's weird.
Well, the description may not be that bad, but the art itself is probably.
Oh,
pretty
you've
bad.
Googled?
No, I haven't seen it, but I mean,
Furry art.
I can connect the dots. It's probably not good stuff to look at.
Furry art is artwork that features anthropomorphic animals that have human-like traits that can include things like walking on two legs, wearing clothes, speaking or expressing human emotions, living in a human-like world, having a mix of human and animal anatomy.
I mean,
we have moved to the realm of the ridiculous, and it's been here for a long time, but y'all, people thinking this is so random, but one time, what is the water park that's up in Springville that it used to have that concrete slide?
Oh,
yeah.
Spring Valley.
Yes.
Spring
oh
Valley.
man, that was the place.
Okay, so much fun. But I took my kids there, I think last summer or the summer before, and we're all standing up about to go down this. Why are you laughing?
Because I remember.
You remember the concrete slide and you had to wear helmets?
Yes.
Yeah. And you just shot out of those things,
Yes.
and it was good luck with you.
Somebody actually seriously got hurt on those.
Well,
Yeah.
They got rid of the concrete.
Yeah.
It's no longer there.
That
But
was
I
probably a good
loved it.
idea.
It was fun.
It's like the 80s,
Mhm.
you know, just
Ripped
where
up your
things
bathing
were-
suit on the way down.
maybe your arm, your elbow, your knee. But it was not, I don't know if it was the taco. Actually, one time we went, a friend of mine ended up in a neck brace because she went on the taco and she got, you'll know it who it is. Anyway, okay. I digress. We're standing waiting to go down a slide, and all of a sudden these middle school kids in front of us start talking about, and of course I had to insert myself into the conversation. They're having a conversation. They went to Boaz Middle School where they swear there was a litter box
Yeah.
in the middle school bathroom.
Yeah. I remember that story actually.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. Well,
it
not.
traveled all the way from Spring Valley Beach to you?
Well, I can't remember. I think there was some publication or something that wrote about it. But yeah, because I think when I was on Dale Jackson's show, I think we talked about it one day actually.
Didn't we have requests for litter boxes in Mountain Brook?
Yeah, I think in Shelby
And
County.
didn't we
too.
have in Shelby County? I mean, there were several places around the state, because when we talked about it, and I know we'll talk about it much more throughout the day today, but because when we talked about it, we wrote about it, we really did deep dives into it on our old show, no one believed us. They thought we were making it up. And then, of course, they used that to malign anybody who said that there were furries, let alone bring up the nasty, deviant sexual fetish that is furries.
Yeah.
Because one of my friends is a counselor, and she said, would you please, please, please let parents know that letting your child dress as a furry is not just a silly Halloween situation. There is a deep oppression involved with the whole thing. So lest you all think we're joking, we've been talking about it for a good while. But this idea that there's furry art and that Thomas Crooks, who was mysteriously secreted away and cremated, we'll never know more.
And apparently was like the only 27-year-old with no digital footprint at all. It's convenient how that works. But not only the furry part, but I mean, he went by they, them. So this is yet another trans violent situation. We saw it with Tyler Robinson and now Crooks, but we've seen it with many others. The Nashville school shooter, the Minnesota school shooter. So there's a trend here of people who live in a reality. I feel bad for them because they hate themselves so much and how God made them that they have to change how they are. But because they're so hurt, then they take out their hurt on others violently because they either tell the truth or even they take it out on innocent kids because they're just so troubled with themselves that, it results in violence. But if we say that, then we're the transphobes and we're hateful, and people like Charlie Kirk get shot because their hate can't be tolerated any longer, which is what I think exactly what Tyler Robinson said. but it needs to be called out. And I love what Benny Johnson said in there of, I actually didn't have it in that clip because it was far too long, but the satanic statues are Baphomet trans, and they want kids to then partake in it and learn transgenderism from a young age, so then they can become like Robinson and Crooks, and it just completely twists what God intended. And that's why it's the root of anti-God, because you're literally changing what God intended you to be, and that results in violence. So I think that is the big story. There's also, I hate to play devil's advocate, but I don't know if y'all saw Tucker Carlson did a big expose on Crooks is like some of his digital footprint that wasn't made public by the FBI. And then it was like a couple of days after that this trans stuff came out, this revelation that he was online being a furry guy, transgender. And I don't necessarily believe this, but of course the rumors are starting to flurry of, Tucker was onto something way deeper, but they're using this as a distraction, because the timing's a little bit convenient. I think Tucker alluded to maybe he was recruited by some outsider people to take out Trump. I don't know how much I believe that, but I think it's out there. The conspiracy is already flying about it, but nonetheless, the trans part is true and it needs to be talked about.
I did not follow that at all. You're going to have to explain that to
I'll
me
explain
again.
it more later. Yeah.
But I'm sorry. I keep laughing because one of the funniest things was one of the GOP dinners that we went to in Birmingham.
And your husband's.
It was the same night as a furry convention. So you've got all these conservative Republicans just trying to get to their table, and you're having to weave down the halls, all these furries. It was the most bizarre.
Chris, we have pics.
We have pictures because our husbands are walking, and somehow they got right up and are walking beside this one furry.
Who was very friendly, by the way.
It was so funny. Anyway, I'm sorry, but I just can't take this seriously. It is. You're not a dog. You're not a cat. You're not a tree.
How can you play along with it? How can you not laugh? How could any human who's in charge of a school actually say, you know what? I will get you a litter box. Mom, dad, who's made the request.
Here in Alabama, that's what's
it's ridiculous is what it is.
Speaking
but are we
of
surprised?
Ridiculous?
Are we surprised?
We have an update on, I want to tell y'all some stories from our own high school and how crazy some of the things that have happened
Good grief.
In our high school. But then we have an update on K Ivy and PBS and Pride Sesame Street, right? Okay, you're going to have to wait to hear what went down because they made a vote. You're listening to Rightside Radio, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Rightside Radio, where we think it's fun to learn together. Don't we?
I have so much to learn. I don't claim to know it all at all.
You know what? That I was telling JP, I'm Amy Beth. Y'all know by now, she's the Allison Sinclair, JP, that the reason I love our montage every day is there's so much in it, even though we're sending him some of the same clips. The other part that I love that I kind of geek out on is, oh my gosh, like we all get to learn new things. Truly, which I love that about us. And I love that about our show. I love the text that y'all send in. One of y'all dropped great info about Schofield Study Bible, dispensationalism. We'll get into that later. I hope soon to have our pastor on because he is so knowledgeable. Also, he's funny, but very, very wise. But I just wanted to say it is a joy to be a part of this community. And we appreciate y'all and your text, and we appreciate learning things together.
Yeah, I think that's what makes our show, or at least our kind of MO, a little different, is that, like, obviously our audience and listeners have sent so much information that I didn't know, whether it's about dogs or the Schofield Bible or whatever it is. I mean, we don't claim to know it all, and we're just asking questions, and we're just going to hash through the issues together. I think that's the best way to do it, because actually, probably if you put us all together, we could pull off some great things.
Yeah.
Alone, I can't. I need y'all.
That's why we're together.
That's why we're together. So what were the other texts? There's one.
There were really good texts.
Gosh, Scott from Athens just wrote a dissertation on the Schofield Bible. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to have to copy and paste this.
Scott, that was really good. I wonder if you have learned anything from Bruce Gore. He's a teacher, retired lawyer from Oregon, and is fascinating on the apocalypse starting at the beginning of time and passing through the Great Awakening, the Second Great Awakening, which was not awesome, and how we got here. So I'm wondering if you've watched or listened to any of his stuff. Let me know what you think about that.
Is that Lisa or Liza?
Lisa.
Lisa from Huntsville. Totally agree with you, ladies. I've had 2 dogs, and they both were rescues. The first one came from a pound. The second one was a purebred, and she was given away because she was no longer needed for breeding purposes. I have no problem with people getting dogs from reputable breeders.
Or those two.
Or breeders. I owned a mutt, and now I've got a designer dog. They both have brought joy and frustration and unconditional love. I mean, that's the thing. We've had dogs from the shelter as well, but sometimes I don't think it's wrong to, if from a temperament standpoint, from a size standpoint, from a history standpoint, I mean, these dogs are not unlike like our adopted kids that have history and attachment issues, and you get into all these behavioral things. I mean, that sometimes you just want to be able to take it on from the beginning, but whoo, I don't know. Remind me not to go see that vet again. If she's there, I'm leaving. She's rude.
I'm sorry. That's
She's
really
rude.
rude. And
Yeah.
it just goes into and may I have $1 million from you, please, right now, even though your heart's broken? Sure. Let me get right on that.
Your dog's about to die. You owe us a lot of money. And by the way, you're a terrible human being for getting a dog from a breeder. Shame.
I mean, if our brilliant air conditioner guys or our junk pickup people, any of those people can just send you an invoice, maybe we should consider doing the same thing.
Let's just hold back judgment.
We're just putting that out there for you to consider.
But it's funny because Jenkins says, we briefly were dog breeders, but due to the breeder shaming that is going around right now, our attempt at that fell on its face. That's just so sad.
What is this? Is this jealousy? I'm really asking.
I don't know.
I don't think it, but see, okay. So a former pastor of ours, his wife breeds very, very high end, those English cream golden retrievers that are like gazillion dollars. Well, her theory is that, you should breed and have these dogs to not perfect, because they'll never be perfect, but to the healthiest, most optimal, almost perfect, genetically solid form. Okay, that was a really crude way of putting it. She wants them to be super fancy and really pretty in all the right ways. Is that wrong?
I don't think so.
Is that, to want to do it well and do it the right way?
I just think do it the best you can. Get whatever dog you want from wherever you want, please. Let's just stop shaming each other over our pets and just celebrate that God actually loved us enough to give us dogs and cats and whatever else it is that you have at your house.
And if someone's dog is dying and it's a purebred, just save the comments till after.
Save it.
That's all I'm going to say. We'll be right back.
So I want to remind you, Inspire Advisors is one of our sponsors, and they are doing amazing work. Look, I know this audience. You're the kind of folks who believe in standing up for your principles. You're good stewards of what you have for resources. What if the companies you are investing in, though, don't reflect your values at all? Well, that's why you need to meet Paul Breyer and his team at Inspire Advisors. Inspire Advisors, experts in the field of biblically responsible investing. Look, they can help you grow your bottom line while also being proud of what companies you invest in. Inspire Advisors. You got to check them out. Here's their website, www.moneypatternwealth.com. That's Inspire Advisors, www.moneypatternwealth.com, and tell them you heard about it on Rightside Radio.
Welcome back to Rightside Radio. I'm Allison Sinclair with Amy Beth Shaver and the JP. JJ. Actually,
JP.
the guy that does the intro kind of says JP. And he didn't
Does
even
he?
know. He does.
JP.
You'll listen to it next time. So one of the things that we talked about in the montage, or that you played, was about, well, we have a few things. We have Sean Duffy talking about illegals being, no, that was Stephen Miller. Now they're confused.
The rent control was Stephen Miller.
Yes.
And the CDLs was Duffy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on? And this is kind of, I bring this back to the RAISE Act that Alabama enacted last session. All of our resources from the federal level to the state level, and it seems to the local level, are going to further the education, the living standards of people that are here illegally and that aren't even American citizens.
Yeah.
And half of America on the left is okay with that. It's the most bizarre thing. And Matt Walsh has he's been talking a lot about, I'm not just America first, I'm America only. And he went on to say in one of his little segments, just like I am my family first, I will, if there's 1 million people that are engulfed in flames in a house fire, I'm going in to get my family first,
Right.
which is the way it should be. That is the way. And then from there, you reach out to your neighbors. But if you don't have your house in order, you can't properly care for other people. We don't have our house in order. We're flailing. We are drowning. And we continue to give to these people that really aren't giving back to us. They're illegal aliens. Let's just say the name. Illegal.
Yes.
They're
So-
actually undocumented citizens.
It's illegal.
No, I agree, because what is the rent control supposed to be? You know, what's the model in New York supposed to be with that? It's supposed to be the people, the American citizens who are struggling. And even though I don't agree with the rent control, that is the purpose of it, or the alleged purpose of it, is to help struggling American citizens. It's now just illegal aliens who cross the border and get flown to New York City. Then they can live. They're the ones living in the rent control apartments, and the American citizens who are struggling, that are actually supposed to benefit from it, they're out to dry. So even the liberals who support rent control, they're the ones getting passed over for illegal aliens. So the whole system is twisted in so many different knots. I worry it's going to get even worse with Mamdani coming in. And even in Mamdani's speech, he listed off every foreign person that he will be a mayor for, and didn't even mention American citizens. So the American citizens who are liberals, who are all for the rent control, they're the ones that are getting passed over by people who shouldn't even be here in the first place. And not only do they not add anything, they take away from us.
Yeah.
So
They do take away from us. And I'm wondering if any of them have stopped to consider what this will turn into for them. Will they stop to consider that this will turn decent apartments today into dumps tomorrow? Do they understand that the landlords will not be able to improve their properties because they can't? They can't keep up with cost of living. They can't. So all they want to do is maintain and get some sort of payoff from what they own. And so not only are they not improving their properties, not only are they not allowed to improve and raise their rent to keep up, they have people in line behind the people who will just leave. So they have no incentive to improve what they own. And the only people who benefit from rent controlled properties are the very people that liberals claim to hate, the wealthy.
mm-hmm.
The wealthy are the only ones who have homes built for them in rent controlled cities. That's all. So I find it ironic that these people are like, yes, we want rent control. That sounds great. And then they don't stop to think that their jealousy, their envy, their malcontent, basic nature looking at life is going to bite them on their own butts eventually, because nobody's going to want to live in New York. Nobody's going to want to live in LA and anywhere else if they've decided. I mean, I didn't know that it's a rent controlled, like it's a city commission that meets yearly to decide how much, based on a guesstimate, they'll increase the rent that year. Or they'll say, well, you can only have it this much. It reminds me of big insurance. Big insurance decides for everybody else how it's going to go, and the rest of us are on the losing end of that. And it's the same thing with rent controlled. Random people meet to make a random decision, and regular people, the American people, are getting squeezed. I wonder how long it's going to take with Mom Donnie and his, oh, by the way, I need more money on top of the other more money I needed last week. How long it's going to take them to go, uh-oh, we have made a massive mistake.
I think you just brought up a really good point. And it kind of goes back to, I think it was yesterday that DeSantis was in the montage of him saying, just because it's legal, and we had talked about that, just because it's legal, is that really good to have 20 million Somalians here? They're legal, but is that beneficial to America? And what you just said, something about Americans, it made me wonder how does the left define Americans? Apparently, it is defined by if you are just on American soil. But nowhere else in the world are you treated like that. If I go to Italy, which I would love to go back, I'm not Italian. I don't get all those benefits. So why is it here that half of America treats foreigners as Americans? And they are treated better than we are. It's really this upside down world. But I guess that's the point. They want this upside down.
Yeah, Marxism. They want no national identity, so then you can just flood, and America's nothing but just, a place on a map. You can just come and be from anywhere and not have any Western or American beliefs or values, and you're an American because you're on American soil. And that, if you can deduce America to just land, then what's worth, America's not worth preserving, because what is it? It's just the dirt. It's just, somewhere you can go geographically. So then that's where the Mom Donnies can come in, and everybody come on in. Everybody's American. And then America gets destroyed from within that way.
And might we just drop in this conversation in this handy dandy tale of just fraudulent activity in these rent controlled cities? You also have, just asking about this whole global citizen. Do y'all remember when the church made that global citizen push probably 15 years ago? We were at a different church at that point, and all of a sudden the language changed. And I think you also have to throw in the conversation that leadership, church leadership, not all of them, but in certain denominations, the leadership started pushing this global. We're global. And you think, why are they talking about that? Obviously, this is for all the world, but we're still America. And apparently God liked borders and boundaries. So he didn't have any problem with that. Like I'm just like, if you read it in the Bible, I'm just asking. But I think you have to throw in there that change, that subtle change that also introduced toxic empathy into the church. So now you have people that are like, oh, but what will they do? Who will pick our cotton? Who will wash our dishes? We have to help them. They want a better life. And the leadership in some denominations also went along with this Marxism and also made it an us problem instead of you guys, what are you talking about? But it was so subtle. That's the other part of it. Church folks don't really feel this way. It's the leadership. If you Meg Basham, I sent you a story for tomorrow. There's a huge dichotomy between us and them. But they're pushing this, and that entered the lexicon about 15 years ago. So not only do you have this rent-controlled issue, illegals living there, what is land, great replacement theory, and then the piece de resistance is the usual suspects that should have said, we'll help you get legal, but you're not a citizen. Now the church has made it our problem when it isn't at all. And they've made it almost a salvific issue. If you don't believe this way, you're a bad person. Who wants to be seen as bad? I think that's the other element of the conversation.
I'm thinking back to about that same time that David Platt's Radical came out, which really normalized a little bit this whole socialist idea of it's bad to have things. It's bad to have money. It's bad to have 3 pairs of shoes. You should only have 2, and you got to give it away. And God calls it theology couldn't be worse, but it really is how this from you talking about that 15 years ago. This is how this just crept into the church. And now it's almost the norm. It is rare to find a pastor that will speak out against these globalist ideas, which is terrifying. And we sit here and have these conversations, and I just wonder, I don't think we're too far gone, but it's going to take a lot more of us to kind of stand up and do the things. All the things.
All the things.
We need that in the button too. All the things to save this country. I think it's worth saving. I think it's worth the time and the effort and the discussion and the uncomfortableness, and potentially, well, we're already in the cold Civil War part.
Yeah.
I don't know how this ends, but scary stuff.
The way to combat it is the GOP as a whole realizing it's not like 2001 or the 1990s anymore. Like the left is so bonkers crazy that if we don't match their intensity in terms of not with killing people, match their intensity with policy and realize who we're fighting and stop the infighting, realize who our real enemy is, I think that's the only way we win. Instead of, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory like the Republicans love to do, we got to match their intensity with the policies they want, with the policies that we want. Because if we don't, then they're just going to come in and destroy everything.
And may I just add on as we go to break, if you're, a Democrat and you're not bonkers crazy, many of you are not, then you're also going to have to stand up against your own party as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is we're all in this war situation, this Cold War. I like the way that you put that. So we need y'all to go, excuse us, this is insane, and stand up for sensible policies. Truly. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't think it is, because I know reasonable people who are Democrats that are pro-life Democrats, but they support all the other things. And I'm like, okay, y'all are going to have to also stand up as well. And that's a hard thing to do. That's a really hard thing to do, because I think you're right. We've reached the tipping point.
Well, good on y'all for still having any hope in the GOP.
Oh, I
really have.
No,
it's waning.
I mean, mine for sure is waning, but
we don't have an option. It's the vehicle we have to use. I get it, but it's not looking like the best automobile to arrive in.
Mm-mm.
Not these days. Anyway, we're going to take a break. We'll be back. And then at 3:30, we have Representative Mac Butler, who is going to join us to talk about his chemtrail bill, since we talked about that yesterday. And also it goes along with furry art. He has a gender ideology bill that you are going to want to stay up to date and follow as well. So you're listening to Rightside Radio. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Rightside Radio. I'm Amy Beth with Allison and JP. We are looking forward to our conversation in a few minutes with Mac Butler. We will talk about chemtrails, but we will also cover a few other things because he is a mover and shaker. But before we do that, JP, do you think that by way of conversation starters, we could play some of those reels again about the chemtrails? Because Allison was just sharing some info with us that's a little alarming.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I got the Lee Zeldin clip ready if y'all want to lead into Mac Butler with that. But yeah, it's concerning.
Yeah.
It's very concerning. Yeah, let's do Lee Zeldin.
Who is the head of the EPA?
Yes. Talking with Glenn Beck about what they're finding out with chemtrails.
Putting sulfur dioxide, a lot of it, for a long time into the upper atmosphere, which turns into acid rain. There are real health concerns with regards to these activities. Now, in the case of stratospheric aerosol injection, it's not like it's thoroughly studied, it's approved, it's trusted. Instead, you have people who just want to do it on their own, like try to get themselves someone to hand over $1 billion to just go dump a whole bunch of sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere. And no, that doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound right. And it shouldn't happen. No. Everything that I know as the EPA administrator should be communicated transparently with the American public, whatever the answer is, wherever the facts lie. We posted last month on the EPA website, epa.gov/geoengineering, a lot of the answers I received on this topic. And there has been government funding that's gone towards some of these efforts. There are entities and people who would want to drastically scale these activities up. My goal is to fix everything out of the gate.
I find it ironic that the same EPA that would pull up in a pond near where my parents used to live in Inverness near us.
That's the one that I dropped Martini the goose off at.
Oh, I bet my mother probably fed Martini the goose.
Is it like toxic or something?
No, but if they did anything wrong, I just remember my dad talking about that there was some kind of grass that the EPA didn't want. And they didn't want them to know that they were recirculating the water to water their grass, because why wouldn't you do that if you live there? And everybody did it. But the EPA ran roughshod. They wanted to put a pond in some property. And there was only a certain period of time during the year that was a very narrow window, that if you wanted to add anything to your property, you could only do it during this narrow window. And they were vigilant about protecting the land. But this is the same EPA, thank goodness that Lee Zeldin is the head of it, that also somehow didn't mention the chemtrails and the chemicals that they're dropping on us. But you better not put anything in the pond, and you can only build what we say, when we feel like it. Oh, but by the way, just ignore the metals. Just ignore the plasma. Just ignore it. That's not real.
Big deal. Well, I think Lee Zeldin hit the nail on the head of why this is happening. He said, you just want $1 billion to go throw some sulfur dioxide or whatever he said in the air. This is all a scheme, some sort of laundering money scheme. And I don't know how it circles back to the pockets of a lot of these politicians, but it does. I'm curious to talk to Mac Butler, who will be on after this break, but to see if he's gotten any pushback since he dropped this bill. I'm guessing he's heard from a few companies that don't want to lose their billions of dollars, but we'll see. Y'all stick around. We'll be back with Representative Mac Butler. You're listening to Rightside Radio.
Welcome back to Rightside Radio. I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP. We are having a Taco Tuesday, but we all may be less interested in food.
Can we call it a talk about it?
Yes.
Tuesday.
Absolutely. That's
Not Joe Average Radio Show
There you
Tuesday.
go. Not Joe Average Tuesday.
Yes, please. But a conversation we're very excited to have. Joining us on the phone is Representative Mac Butler. Sir, how are you today?
Great. It's so good to be with you guys.
We're so happy to have you and to have this conversation. We wanted to start with chemtrails. And Allison made a prediction.
I did.
Before we went to break. Or question. You posed a question.
Oh, I did pose a question about oh gosh. We'll get there. I won't lead with that question because it's a stumper.
It's a good one.
But I'm so curious because I would have, 4 or 5 years ago, told you were absolutely insane if you had told me that people were spraying things into the sky and manipulating the weather. That's some weird sci-fi movie. And now here we are, and I wonder why we haven't passed legislation to stop this. It is clearly a problem. It is clearly happening. Lee Zeldin came out and was discussing it. Joe Rogan had someone on talking about it. RFK Jr.'s talked about it. So I'm curious how you kind of came around to this, and what was the impetus for you filing this bill? And you think we can get on board?
As a representative of the people, we're supposed to do their will, not ours. But I've had so many of my constituents reach out to me about this. And so we started digging into it, looking into it. And I think last year, 30 states filed legislation. Florida and Tennessee are the only ones now that have passed anything. But I think you're going to see more and more. I think you'll see a lot more movement on it this next year. And hopefully we can be one of those states that passes it. At minimum, we need to have this conversation. And of course, when we file legislation, it normally will bring the professionals on both sides of the argument to Montgomery, where we can, because I'm not an expert on it, but I can Google like the rest of us, and there's something there to it that we're not being told. Because you can go to the NOAA website, and different gov websites, and find all kinds of stuff. And we've been influencing and manipulating weather for decades, and it's going on all around the globe. Some countries are not as bashful about it as we seem to be.
So what kind of questions were your constituents asking you?
Oh, I had people call me right and left that say they're being sprayed. They say they're getting less sunlight. I had actually a retired vascular surgeon call me yesterday with an engineering degree. He was fantastic. I did that. I took that picture of the sky yesterday in Gadsden, where you could see all the, I'm going to say, white lines in the sky. Anyway, I posted it on Facebook and talked about the legislation, and that stirred a lot of comments and controversies. But anyway, this gentleman that owns property on Smith Lake was from Huntsville. He said he lives in South Carolina now, but he told me he'd come testify, and he's got a group of doctors that we went down a lot of rabbit holes of things with the government. We went into vaccines and a lot of things. He's very refreshing to talk to, because we have been lied to on so many fronts that we used, COVID opened our eyes to so many things that we were always told to trust the medical community, and now they're wanting to, give children 72 vaccines. And I'm like, what? Because, I got maybe 4.
Yeah.
There's some of this stuff begs to look into. Anyway, so the contrail, chemtrail, I like to just say geoengineering, but this bill would absolutely, make it a crime for the dispersion of compounds into the atmosphere for the purpose of affecting the weather. And, there's something going on there in the stratosphere. We know they're finding aluminum, among other things, up there that are not naturally there. There's been a problem with seeds having to become aluminum resistant because of all the aluminum. Aluminum's naturally in the soil, but there's apparently a lot more of it. But there are so many things that are begged to be questioned. And so that's simply what we're doing, because it's just funny that this bill seems to garner a lot of support, but also a lot of animosity. And I'm like, well, if we're not doing it, what harm is it
Right.
to say we're not going to do it? Because in reality, it's going to take the feds to get involved and do something on this. And if enough states will do it, we will force their hand. Ron DeSantis, of course, is the strongest. He would not accept a watered down version of this bill. And we have passed the exact legislation that he did, making it, a crime and putting a $100,000 fine on it.
That kind of
So-
leads into one of my questions for you, because airspace past a certain altitude is, I'm guessing, owned or controlled by the federal government. So when states like Tennessee and Florida pass these laws, is it more of a statement to the federal government that this is important to our people, or can you actually change what happens in the sky based on a state law?
I think we can make attempts, but honestly believe this is a federal issue at the end of the day. Now, we would absolutely, if we pass this, we would go after the people and the offenders, because this thing sets up all the mechanics to have the fund and the reporting system, the website, the phone number where people could report it.
Yeah.
And the fines would provide the funding. It would not go to the general fund. But at the end of the day, it's going to take a federal solution to this, and this just helps bring it into focus, because we are seeing, the EPA and RFK, and even Tucker Carlson had a guy, fascinating. I don't know if you listened to that interview, but he had an engineer on there that very smart, went way into the nanoparticles and all this of what's going on. I've seen the videos. A lot of people send me things, and it's kind of crazy. At least it just begs to be looked at. And that's all we're trying to do is have a conversation, hopefully pass the legislation, but hopefully we'll get some people on each side of the issue to come to Montgomery and talk about it. But my job is to represent my district, and people in my district have made me aware that this is very important to them, that they do believe they are being sprayed and poisoned by the government.
I haven't looked up the bill yet, but do you have any co-sponsors on the bill?
Yes, I only because I pre-filed it. I only reached out to a few people. Representative Gidley, Lamb, Harrison, and Fiddler and Bolton had all asked to be part of it.
Okay.
So that's. I think I would have got a ton more if we'd been in session, but pre-filing it's a little more cumbersome because we're not physically there in Montgomery. I sent it in, and they had to call right then. But they had all made me aware that they wanted to be part of the legislation.
That's good. We need to get those numbers up. I'm curious along those lines. Do you feel like you will have the support, or is this, because I would love, I don't know how much time you have, and maybe we can cover it before the break, but to kind of talk about your gender ideology bill that you're having to file,
Sure.
For the third, fourth year. Yet again. It seems to take us a while, like to define what is a woman took us 4 years, 3 years. Craziness.
Yeah, it is, and then with the supermajority, some of these things should be easier. We got it to the House no problem. It seems to keep getting in a logjam up in the Senate,
which is
Senator
ironic.
Keith Kelly
it's so weird to me because they claim to be the more conservative body, and I'm like, every year, every session, oh, we just ran out of time. Oh, Allison, we're going to get it out of committee.
10 Commandment bill died in the Senate, and the Chaplain bill died in the Senate, and which is frustrating. But it is a good group up there. But Senator Keith Kelly is actually going to pre-file the gender ideology bill. To try to get that. It'd be great if we could get it moved to the Senate first.
Well, wouldn't that be?
And get it dealt with sooner than later.
That'd be great.
Well, I'll tell you, it is a very important issue to myself and Amy Beth in our Shelby County school system. We had, my word, about 5 years ago in our counseling office, outside of the counselor's office, where a child could come by and just pick up a flyer. It was a gender transition resource guide.
Just right there.
And that is absolute nonsense. Absolutely. The schools are supposed to be dealing with the curriculum. the approved curriculum, and that's it. But this bill does not prohibit a student from talking to the teacher, the counselor, the football coach, whoever they want to talk to, but it would prevent the instruction and discussion of it in the classroom, because you've got, and thankfully it's a minority of teachers doing it, but we've got some intent. I've had students tell me about teachers that cannot teach your class for focusing on all things transgender.
And this is
Appears to be
here in
a fad
Alabama.
that does seem to be waning.
Yep. I think it's
but
time.
it is utter nonsense.
Yeah, to step in. I mean, we've had, gosh, at our high school, we've got transgender stickers everywhere and transgender LGBTQ flags everywhere, and
yeah, and this legislation would prohibit that as well as the pronouns.
well, we need to look into that.
But
We'd
so
love
many
to have you.
parents want that because of some classrooms. I've had people send me pictures, and some classrooms are covered in the pride flag. These are the same classrooms that are opposed to the 10 Commandments, which are part of the founding of America.
Imagine that.
Shot of a doubt. And actually, thanks to the lemon test being overturned, thank you, Coach Kennedy, we can actually display those. And anything with a historical precedence, which, public school actually began in the church. The first teachers were the pastors. They were the most educated person in the community. The term Sunday school comes from school being taught at church on Sundays. First textbook was the Holy Bible. The first reader was called the New England Primer, used from 1690 to 1930. 240 years, full of scripture. Every single founder father learned to read from the New England Primer. So the historical precedence is there. So thank you, Coach Kennedy, for fighting that battle, just for praying on the 50-yard line and getting fired. And we were at Wall Builders this past weekend in Texas for a legislative conference. It was incredible, but Coach Kennedy was actually there with us.
Wow.
Yep. Well,
we've got to get back, to the basics and get off this nonsense. And people keep wondering, and there's several reasons why enrollment's dropping, but the woke ideology and the sexualization of children is one of the main reasons that so many parents are homeschooling. So many are using the Choose Act. They're using virtual school. They're sick of this indoctrination.
They are, and we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us today. Our State Representative Mac Butler talking about chemtrails, talking about gender ideology, pre-filing bills. We will look after these things and hope to get you back on just as soon as possible. Thanks for your time today.
All right. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
We'll see you after the break. Welcome back to Rightside Radio. I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP. As we wrap this hour up, Allison and I both have information she would not tell us at the beginning. And we wonder if we're going to tell each other the same thing. Tell us your bit
Let
of
me
info.
go first.
Yeah, you go first.
All right, kind of breaking news. As of 6 hours ago, Governor Greg Abbott designated the Muslim. Is that it?
No.
Oh, designated the Muslim Brotherhood and Council on American Islamic Relations as foreign terrorists and transnational criminal organizations. This bans them from buying or acquiring land in Texas and authorizes the Attorney General to sue and shut them down.
Bravo.
It is about time.
Thank you.
There
Thank
it is.
you. There it is.
That's good on you, Greg Abbott. Sometimes you're a little squishy,
This one,
but that's
you
solid.
nailed it.
Yeah.
Does that mean the Meadow/Epic City is shut down?
We're going to have to follow, is it Amy Meck on X,
I
who
don't know who that is.
She, remember last year we talked about Epic City, now called the Meadow, because apparently we can't know that something's been changed and it's the exact same thing. She's a good follow on X, and she literally lists out all the things going on in Epic City. I'll find it on X. Mine is similar to yours in that it has to do with land purchased by people that shouldn't purchase land. We understand, specifically, me, very specific. We know the Chinese, along with Bill Gates, are buying up land. And the Bill Gates part, I would love to talk about because I think it directly deals with World Economic Forum. And I have some thoughts that I would love your thoughts on. However, did you know that in the Chinese pursuit of purchasing land in the U.S., where are they loving buying land?
I know.
Yes, sir. I bet you do.
By military facilities.
Do you know how many?
I don't know how many.
19.
Yeah. Wow. That
Wow.
that seems benign. One of our main global adversaries loves buying land around 19 military bases.
Yes.
That's just got to be a coincidence.
But that's just, like, calm down, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, the people with the drones that floated over, nothing to see here under Biden.
That was weird.
That was so weird. And we never found out about it.
No, we never got an answer.
But we also don't know where those took off from. Do we? Could they have taken off from near one of the Air Force bases? Apparently, one of the ones is the new, I don't know, Whiteman Air Force Base. That was one of the most recent ones, apparently. This is not great news. So we need to get on this, like lickety split.
It seems like one of those things that's a layup. Like, it's easy. Why can't we just sign an executive order and then get the process started of some legislation to ban China from not only buying farmland, but, I mean, until I'm convinced otherwise, why don't we just ban China from buying any land in the U.S.?
Period.
So, I was going to say, keep them from buying farmland, keep them from buying land around military bases. Like, wait, why is China even allowed to buy any land at all on our territory? I mean, it's not just any country, it's China, like one of our main adversaries. They can't be any good. And all they're doing is running our farmers out and buying, these farmlands at auctions and driving up the prices. Like, that can't be good. So I'm sure somebody has some reason as to why this has to continue. And, the farming economy would just really struggle if we did this. Until somebody convinces me otherwise, I don't know why we don't just write up a bill or sign an executive order that bans China from buying any land at all, period.
I have a question, ma'am and sir.
Yes.
Would we be allowed to buy land in China or any of the Islamic countries?
It's a good one.
Methinks not, my kind lady. I think that would be a negative.
I'm just wondering, if the shoe fits and it's worth putting on the other foot, would we be allowed to buy?
You're so mean, though.
Oh, no, I'm awful.
You have to be nice.
That's pretty xenophobic.
Amy Beth.
Considerate, shouldn't I be?
Yes, you are racist.
I'm awful.
Probably misogynist.
I'm that too.
And ageist.
Obviously.
Yeah, you're all the things. And transphobic.
Just list them all.
Homophobic.
Just put them beside my head in a
Furry
slide.
phobic.
Boom, boom, boom.
And you don't even like furry art.
I am very picky when it comes to art.
We may have lost it.
So I just wondered, as you were talking about your stories and about the meadows, and we're talking about China and military bases. Why don't we go try and buy some land over there, over yonder way?
It doesn't work out well, especially if you go over and try and convert them to Christianity too. Doesn't work well.
Straight to jail.
You will surely die. But actually, that's true. You're listening to Rightside Radio. We'll be right back.
Hey, my friends, Phil Williams here. You've heard me talk about Inspire Advisors, how Paul Breyer and his team at Inspire Advisors will help you grow your investment portfolio while also screening out the companies that don't stand for conservative Christian principles. Look, they are experts in what is known as biblically responsible investing, and they are now offering a limited opportunity for a free class on that BRI. Check out the class, register for free, their website, www.moneypatternwealth.com. It's godly, it's conservative, it's financial freedom, y'all, with Inspire Advisors at www.moneypatternwealth.com. Check them out. Tell them you heard about it on Rightside Radio.
Welcome back to Rightside. I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP, having quite the Tuesday today. We've done a lot of things, Allison. We had Representative Mac Butler on to talk about several different things. One of his pre-filed bills in regards to gender identity, gender ideology, but also what's going on with our weather, which some of our listeners think this is outlandish and outrageous, and we'll get there. Just give us a minute. But we've also talked about several other things. We'll get to the Bill Gates part of this whole situation because I have questions for y'all based on a few things that I learned. Even Wikipedia can be good for some of these things. But then we were talking early on about rent control and what that does to communities, non-citizens living in apartments that we should be living in, how we got here and why. We did a little bit about furries, which, for the love of all that's good and holy, before you tell us that's not a thing, we dealt with it. It really is. And it is as outlandish as you think it is, but it's back in the news.
We did have one listener text in and say, basically, not all furries are freaky furries.
Oh,
I think that guy may be a fur. No, I'm not gonna haul allegations.
No, I mean, I just. Oh, I was about to say something to get myself in a lot of trouble. I was going to talk about Disney adults.
Oh, please. Okay, I've had this conversation.
Okay, let's just take it away, JP.
Well,
okay.
It's the millennial Disney adults that go to Disney like 2 or 3 times a year. They go with their Mickey Mouse hats and they post their quirky selfies with all the princesses and the people walking around in costumes. They ride all the kid rides. Listen, if that's your thing, fine, do whatever you want. But it's weird. And I think it's fair to say it's a little weird that, you're an adult and you're still going. I've seen videos of like 30-year-old women and like a Princess Snow White or somebody walk out and they will cry and take pictures and hug her saying, I wanted to meet you my whole life.
Oh.
It's like, it's a specific niche mental, I wouldn't say illness, but it's a weird thing. It's
Fetish?
A weird trend. Well, I don't know if fetish is the right word, but trend. It's a weird trend with the Disney millennial adults.
Do you think it goes beyond people having happy memories at Disney?
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Yeah. But you're also an adult. And I've been to Disney World one time when I was 10. I don't sit there and go, man, you know what? I'm going to do for Thanksgiving? I'm going to go to Disney World. This doesn't cross my mind.
Do you feel as passionately if I said I was a Six Flags adult?
No, that's different. That's fine.
Different?
Yeah. Because
Okay.
it's not.
How's that different?
Well, first of all, Six Flags isn't a brand specifically for kids. I mean, Six Flags is for everybody. I've never been to Six Flags actually, but Disney
Field trip.
Yeah, I love it. But Disney is literally for kids. Like it's that Disney World, Disney, what's the other one? Disneyland, Disney. Besides the ESPN, aspects of it,
Disney.
But Disney itself, the Disney Channel, like I'm sorry, it's probably.
I didn't know it was gonna hit such a nerve.
It's just it's. I think it's funny because I don't know. I maybe I see it too much online, but I think their response to it when people call it weird is what makes it so annoying. But alas, you got me on a tangent.
It's okay.
I didn't mean to, but I do. Like, I hate Disney World. I've been there so many times, and I don't know how we always find ourselves back there. It's just ridiculous. I hate it. It's too many people. It's like a Buc-ee's, and I just can't do it. However, I do kind of like Epcot. If you go country to country and get all the drinks, it makes it fun. We ended up in wheelchairs.
Did you really?
Not even kidding. I won't tell the story. Anyway, that was fun. But I'm with you. And like, I have one child that's really into anime. Freaks me out. I don't know. I'm not going to judge because I know a lot of normal people that are into anime. I don't even know how we started talking about this. You said something about furries again.
I did. I said about furries because it was one of the topics we covered today. And we are basically back to wrapping up our conversation with Representative Butler, but also
gender ideology.
going to talk about beyond the gender ideology. And we're thankful he pre-filed it. But the what's going on in the skies situation, we talked about that. But we also see your text because most people are like, yeah, we get it. Some people are like, what in the world is going on in the sky? That sounds crazy. And you're right, it does. Except if you go way back to the early 2000s and look at the news reports on mainstream CBS where they talk about it, or you look up into DARPA and you realize it's been out there for us to research, it doesn't sound so crazy, even though it's insane. It's insane.
I wonder if this started out, if this is one of those things, like so many times, whether it's legislation or just an idea, it starts out with really good intentions. And I wonder if maybe this started to help relieve, dissipate hurricanes and do some of those things. And now it seems to have turned into this really sinister. I mean, if I let myself go, and if we're going to talk about Bill Gates, there's this whole depopulation. And that's not conspiracy theory. They talk about it. They talk about it very openly that there are too many people in this world. But it's funny to kind of read through the texts that have come through. We run the gamut of feelings on this subject. So Paul Bryant from Athens says many geoengineering operations are DARPA funded and don't respect state or federal laws. And that's what we were asking Mac Butler about, is like, ultimately, is this just symbolic legislation, which I think is important, but what can we do about it? Shane from Huntsville, what kind of quack are you talking to? Manipulating the weather? OMG. Jenkins, chemtrails, the chemicals in the water and the trash in the food. It's all population control. People in the shadows pulling the strings with their big money. Bill Gates and people like him want to control people and population. It's so funny, but you have probably the spectrum of where we are on these subjects, and I think all are valid.
Absolutely.
I've probably been in each one of those text categories in the past few years. So, but it's something to look out for. And I think Mac Butler is right. We at least need to have a conversation about it. I'm glad to hear he has some co-sponsors already, because I figured it was just him on an island. But like so many things, it's kind of turning out to sound about right.
Well, if you have Ron DeSantis,
yeah,
Ronnie, the superstar governor in Florida, leading the way on this, you're not that far off base. And when you find out that other states are doing the same thing in an effort to force the feds to tell us the truth and to stop what they're doing, that they've done for a very long time, we just didn't know about it.
Right.
Because who would think that the movie Twister had bases in reality? That's only something Hollywood could dream up. And it turns out they're not hiding it anymore.
I think it was just grooming.
It probably was grooming.
Yeah, Mac Butler and the legislation in Florida, it's like $100,000 fine if you're caught dropping stuff into the skies. And I'm hoping, I don't know how, and Representative Butler kind of touched on it. I don't know where that money would go. He said it didn't go into the budget. So I don't know where it would go. We need to follow up. I probably should go read the bill. Either way, $100,000 is no small piece of change, and it would be a major deterrent if you could actually enforce it. I hope it's not like one of those gambling things where it doesn't really get enforced.
Well, you were talking about if it's symbolic or not. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene actually has a bill to ban geoengineering on the federal level. So symbolic or not, there is probably something the state can do to enforce it. And I think that will just, show DC or whoever that Republican states and Republicans care about geoengineering. Maybe we should get on board to ban it federally. But also my hopes aren't very high because if it is as sinister as it's being portrayed, you really think DC is going to allow something like that to get get passed Nah, I don't. I mean, we'll see. Maybe we can get enough people behind it, but I don't know. There's probably a lot of Republicans up in DC that are still on the chemtrails. Seriously,
True. It's very true. It is, because like you said, we've all been on that spectrum where if somebody wanted to talk to you about this at an event, you'd kind of go, okay, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And then you start going down the rabbit trail because it sounds quite crazy.
Please tell me how the chemtrails are affecting the firmament of the flat Earth.
Oh, that loaded statement right there. Abs, I guess we don't have time to get into your questions, your Bill Gates.
I think we on the other side we can.
Okay.
We'll do it after the break.
I've got questions.
We'll be right back.
welcome back to Rightside. I'm Amy Beth. She's Allison. He's JP. We're having a Tuesday. We've talked about all the things, and now I finally get to ask you all my questions.
I'm slowly winding down, so I'm just going to kick back in my chair and
I'm
going to hold my mic.
I would be so happy if JP just got us like the little handheld mics like we do when we are giving talks.
I mean, you can unscrew the Shure mic and just hold it.
Just hold that?
Yeah, but
It's not as easy to hold.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So
take it away.
In the beginning, we played a clip, and I mean the beginning of the show. We played a clip, and it was Rachel Duffy interviewing, let's see, what is his name? John Boyd, who at the time was the president of the Farmers Association or Black Farmers Association. I don't know. He's awesome. But at the time of this interview, I was unaware of how much farmland, and I'm sure it's more than that. But do you know how much farmland Bill Gates owns, you guys?
They said it. I can't remember.
Is this a percentage?
Like amount of acres. Like how many acres do you think he owns?
120 something thousand.
How many do you think?
No, that's way too little.
How much?
A gazillion.
A gazillion.
So he owns 275,000 acres as of about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Do you know how many states? How many states he owns property or that land?
24.
26.
19. I'm sure it's increased.
What's the point?
Well, that's the question. For all the people who say the Great Reset is not real. If he's buying up farmland and it's just quietly happening and he's out there out loud, because I want to tee off on something you said a minute ago. He's in the public eye talking about population control. He's talking about vaccines. This is in his wheelhouse all the time. Why is he buying up farmland if he wasn't intent on affecting our food supply?
So are they going to contaminate the soil all around so that farmers can't grow, and then he owns the only land that is still fertile and able to be farmed?
By 2027, he just came out and said that he wanted all butter. His idea was that all butter should be not real.
Butter?
Butter. Lab-made butter to replace butter.
Well, isn't that just margarine? Margarine?
Well, and margarine, you
Country
saw how
crop?
well that went. That wasn't great. But
no,
I mean,
the deer won't even eat margarine.
he's for GMO seeds, for fake meat. He doesn't want us to eat that. But can y'all explain to me, is there some reason I'm missing? Like Steve Dace always says, the benign explanation. What's the benign explanation for Bill Gates? Not just China, not just the illegals living in rent control. You see the pattern here. They're taking up space, and now he's buying up farmland. Please, somebody tell me why he's doing this.
Well, the benign explanation is he's a capitalist and he just wants to enter the farm industry, and he has every right to do it as a U.S. citizen, and pretty much it. But when the guy is talking about literally population control and depopulation like he is, and he's buying up that much farmland, it'd be one thing if he had, like, I don't know, like a couple thousand acres, but over 200,000 acres in 19 states, that's a lot. And actually kind of piggybacks. I had the same question on China. What is the benign explanation? I figured it would just be, well, free markets, capitalism. Sure. Are you sub-socialist? You don't want China to have farmland? I actually super grokked it, by the way, because I was wondering if there's something that I was missing. I literally put into super grok, what is the argument for allowing China to buy land in the United States? And it says, foreign investment in U.S. land, including from China, brings significant capital into the economy. Free market principles and property rights, overstated risks, and minimal Chinese ownership. Bans are ineffective and potentially harmful. And then constitutional and discrimination concerns. Pretty much the reason is what I figured it'd be. It's free markets, and you anti-capitalism, you don't want China owning farmland. It's like, if you want to call me some socialist, communist, or whatever, because I don't want one of our major adversaries owning so much land, and they try to downplay it and say it's actually not that much. It's really overstated risk-wise. I'm sorry, if a foreign adversary owns an inch of farmland, I wouldn't want that at all. And if we need to bite the bullet and let the American farmers start to get going again, I think that's a worthy cause. And around the military bases in particular, it's the same with Bill Gates. It's like, I'm sorry, the benign explanation of capitalism, free markets, is not good enough for me.
I think Bill Gates just likes to travel. He likes a change of scenery when he's building his empire and doing all of his things. Yeah, he needs new scenery. That's all.
Okay, sure. Absolutely.
There's really nothing there, Abs.
So I just look away.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he likes to be at the beach. Then he likes to go to the mountains. And then Kansas is kind of fun in a storm. I mean, it's just he likes change.
He needs to kick his feet up and
He
chill every
does.
now and then.
Just have some fun.
Why do you have to shame him?
We wouldn't understand.
We wouldn't understand. We wouldn't understand the concept of you'll own nothing and be happy.
What else is he going to do with all that money?
Make us eat bugs.
A week in Idaho, a week in Florida.
Idaho.
I don't know. Potatoes.
Oh, that's right.
Got to keep control of the potatoes. Okay, I'm going to pull it back together. Put my microphone down. You're listening to Rightside Radio. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Rightside. I'm Amy Beth with Allison and JP. Did you guys ever see the documentary on Leonard Skinner?
I have not.
Worth it. Watch it.
Really?
It's really good.
What's so good?
I don't even know, except they had quite the community. I mean, it's just a mess. They were a mess, but there was also this genius in them and their story writing and the effect that they had on places where they played. And then the absolute tragic loss in the plane crash. But it was a really good documentary.
I'll have to check it out.
Highly recommend.
Big Leonard Skinner guy myself.
Yeah, I really like him. I really am sad that happened all that time ago. But anyway, interesting. Every time I hear the song, I forget to ask you guys if you've seen it. So watch it this weekend.
Probably won't, but I'm glad it's good.
It's okay. You know what?
I might
Thank you for
try.
being honest.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Listen,
But
it's fine.
hey, sometimes, I mean, I do need new things. You've suggested a lot of really good things, different shows. So I trust you.
Thank you,
Leonard
Allison.
Skinner.
Leonard Skinner. Okay, so guess what, guys?
What?
It's that time of the day.
What time?
Guess who's on the phone?
Is it Jeffrey from Indiana?
Perhaps it is.
It could be.
There you are.
Where in the
How y'all
world
doing?
is Jeff?
Well, Jeff is at the 22-mile marker and on I-65 in Tennessee, passing the Tennessean truck stop.
Oh, no, right where you are.
Go Vols.
I bet you do. But you know, you talking about this acreage that Bill Gates has got and everything. In this perspective, it's really not that much. It's little over 400 square miles. And at one time, my family, we had just a little over 600 acres, and 640 acres is a square mile. So if you figure out what Bill Gates has, it would be like a mile-wide path from Nashville, Tennessee to the Gulf of America, basically. 1 mile wide and 400 miles long.
So, considering that, Jeff from Indiana, what are his intentions with those acres and miles?
Well, it's a good investment, actually. If you take the price of farming, it really is. Look how much price of housing and everything has went up here lately and everything, and ground. Ground is one of those things where you know, it's just going to keep going up in value because they don't have it just so much of it, and everybody's population grows and more people want this, that, and everything else. So, yeah, it's a really good investment.
That's what my husband says. He's like, I mean, they're not making any more of it, so it's not a bad investment.
It's not. I guess my concern is that he's the nation's largest farmland owner. And because of the views that he holds, I am concerned. Because you're right.
Yeah,
it's not that much, but it is farmland, and it's usable farmland that he may or may not be using well.
Well, the government will pay him not to use it, basically. He does.
You're right.
Because, they got the set-aside programs and everything. So, yeah, if you just turn it back into forest, then if you turn it back into classified forest, you wouldn't even have to pay taxes on it, really. So you could turn your farmland into classified forest and probably get paid not to even farm it. So
maybe he is just a genius.
He is that.
Maybe this is all, we're way overthinking this.
You think?
And it's just about the money and the investment and the tax credit and the write-off and
well, maybe it's going to sell to the Chinese. Who knows?
Okay, Jeff.
The Chinese. where do they build computers at? You know, where does all these Windows computers come from? Basically, so
well,
most of it I think comes from China.
I don't know. I think it's fair to be concerned if Bill Gates is the one that's owning the land. I understand what Jeff's saying about in the grand scheme. It may not be that much, but if the guy owning it wasn't constantly talking about depopulation, I may be a little bit less concerned. I am more concerned in the grand scheme about China, but there seems to be a connection between Bill Gates and China, like Jeff just said. So although it's not that much overall, maybe the depopulation guy being the largest farm owner in America is not a great. I don't know. It causes you some suspicion. I'll just say that at the very least.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, like I say, you look at all the rich people who's beholden to China because that's where they get their cheap labor from now, because they're not going to get any cheap labor here, even though the tariffs are cutting into that. You can't even find somebody working at Mickey D's for less than $15-16 an hour. So what is a productive factory worker going to make, compared to what they're going to make in China?
That's fair.
Yep.
Jeff Rowe, we appreciate you calling in. Let me know and call in anytime. We gladly take your call.
Y'all have a good one.
You
You
too.
too.
See you, man.
Allison, you had some breaking news. It had to do with a story that we're all over, but it's a big deal.
I totally forgot what it is.
Epstein.
What, that they voted on it?
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
They just did the vote.
Sorry, that was very anticlimactic. Somebody else take over.
Well,
JP.
First of all, Trump, was it yesterday or the day before, pretty much put up True Social and said, just vote for the Epstein files to be released after fighting it for so long. But Massey and Ro Khanna's bill that brought it to the floor for a vote has passed. 211 Democrats, 216 Republicans for 427 total. There was one no, and I don't know who the one no was. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Higgins. Higgins from Louisiana was the one no. There was 3 Democrats that didn't vote, 2 Republicans that didn't vote. Man.
Who were the Republicans that didn't vote?
I'm not seeing on here. I'd have to look it up.
So was this a vote to see if they wanted to vote to release it?
No.
Is this the vote to release it? So now it goes to the Senate?
Yeah, this was the vote to release all of the Epstein files, which have already been going through oversight committee. But if this passes, then you just stop the oversight and just release all of it, kind of like what they did with JFK and MLK, RFK, which Trump could do that now. So it makes you wonder why, if he's saying, yeah, if you bring it to my desk, I'll sign it in, just get this over with and release it, then he can just release it today. Like, he don't even need a vote from Congress. But
maybe he wants everybody on record.
So
voting one
that's
way
a good
or the
point.
other.
So now Higgins is going to have to go back to his constituents and saying, you were the only one that voted.
Can you
to,
imagine
which
going
means
home this
he,
weekend?
helped build the island.
It's
I'm kidding. I do not know that.
It's certainly a choice.
Allegedly, I am just wondering why you would vote no.
We're getting a text in from Graham from Meridianville that says the Senate actually just approved the Epstein release by unanimous consent.
Oh, wow.
Stop.
Wow. That's big news.
So if this is true, then looks like it's going to be going to Trump's desk ASAP. Yeah, I'm seeing 10 minutes ago, Senate passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act just moments after it was sent over from the House by unanimous consent. So now it's on to President Trump's desk.
Okay.
So question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this going to be a nothing burger?
Well, it makes you wonder because Trump for so long had been fighting it and calling it a hoax. So I guess the question is, was this just him saying, I don't know, it's going to come out anyways, or is there something behind it?
Which is funny. None of this happened until he came out and said, just release it. So has he been the gatekeeper the whole time?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I am on it. I haven't even had caffeine, but I am. Oh, wait.
I am so impressed.
Yeah. So maybe maybe this just gave them enough time to burn the pages that they didn't want out. I'm telling y'all, my brain goes crazy places, but something's up because this has been a no and no and no and no and no and no and no. And all of a sudden the floodgates are open.
I mean, have there been the conversations behind closed doors in the Senate dining room of, we're so sorry, we're going to have to put this out, guys? I mean, I don't know that it's going to be much of anything except we talked about this last week. The women and the men who were trafficked and who were abused got nothing.
Nothing.
And now we find out that the people we think were skeevy have been skeevy all along. And all the women in the room were like, we told you. And the men are like, we're not surprised. So why the change? I think that's a great pickup that he said it, and now they're like, all right, fine.
And will it feed the beast? Because there's a clip of Trump talking about the same clip where he says, just, whatever, release it. It's fine. He goes on to talk about how even all they released on JFK wasn't enough. All they released on Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't enough. So is this going to be enough? I think my guess is Trump is just at the end of it. He's like, maybe thought it would go away. And he tried really hard to make it go away. And he says in that clip, I can't get anything done because this is all anybody's talking about. So maybe he's just throwing his hands up, like you said, JP, and like, forget it, whatever, do it. Let the chips fall where they may. We'll take out all the foreign agents that were part of this. You won't see that part. But I don't know. I'll be curious to see how the victims respond as well.
I mean, that guy who was a model, and I don't know for whom, but it was a well-known guy, has been out there really talking about that. He said men were trafficked too. I was trafficked. Here's my story.
I haven't seen that.
And it's been on my Insta feed. And the victims are speaking out, but it'll be interesting. You're right, to hear tomorrow and tonight, even now, what are they saying? Because it opens up that conversation, that greater human trafficking, sex trafficking. We all kind of know about it, but Epstein feels far away. And like our earlier guest, Jared Hudson, pointed out, it's happening all around us.
Yeah.
It's a much bigger issue than we realize.
And what happens when, everybody years ago saw the flight logs, which we weren't even sure if they were flight logs, an actual, John Roberts was on the flight log. If that turns out, what do you do when the Supreme Court Chief Justice is actually in these documents on that list? Like, this could be total mayhem.
Yeah, it could be. It really could be.
It could go either way. But good on them. Let's just get it out there. It's exactly like I always say. It's like when you go to your kid's bedroom and the door's locked and you knock. Yeah. Hey, come open the door. Okay. Give me a minute. And the longer you stand there, they could be reading their Bibles, but you're like, you're not acting like you're reading your Bible. So maybe this is just furthered the hysteria and there's nothing there and we're going to move on.
I have the people who did not vote.
That's what you've been typing, Kat, on?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm seeing Donald Byer from, let's see, New Jersey, or voted not voting, or Virginia, excuse me. Kassar from Texas.
Republican or Democrat?
These are all of them. Garbarino, Republican from New York. Rulli, Republican from Ohio. Cheryl, Democrat from New Jersey. And then Womack, Republican from Arkansas. So it looks like all of the Alabama delegation on both sides voted yay. So I don't know. Higgins has got some guts to be the only one in the Senate and the House that voted no. That's crazy.
And now the keyboard warriors are like, tell me more about this Higgins character.
Mm-hmm.
Clay Higgins.
Man.
Let's do some research. Keep going typing, Kat. Look up Clay Higgins. Find all the things. All the things.
All the things.
All the things.
We got to take a break. And then I can't believe the show's almost over. One more segment. What are we going to do?
Would you rather?
Would you rather? Bill Gates edition. We'll be back.
Welcome back to Rightside. I'm Amy Beth. She's Allison. He's JP.
You know what you haven't done?
What?
On this new show?
What have I not done?
You haven't called yourself Allison yet. You do it, or you have done it historically a few times.
You know what? Just wait. Stay tuned.
Okay, I'm proud of you.
I'm concentrating.
Keeping it straight.
Doing my best. So, okay, you guys, what's going to break overnight with this story? What's your hot take on this Epstein stuff, since we're all basically over it, since they've dragged it out for forever? Before we do would you rather questions.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a group text that I'm on, and it's just dropping that the Senate passed it, but they're all asking the same questions that we're talking about. Like, why now? What's changed? Is this all just a big act? I'm predicting they're going. Remember Kash Patel in the Senate hearing, or in the hearing? No, I guess I was in the House because it was Thomas Massey. Anyway, him saying, I have turned over all the files I have. And I put that in quotation marks. So to me, this is going to be one of those, we're going to turn over all the files we have and make them public. But it's really not going to be all the files. They're going to disappear.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? They're
Yes.
technically not lying. Like Kash Patel's, like, from what I've seen, there is not a list, is what he was saying. But really what that means is there is a list. I just haven't looked at the paper. But he can do it and not lie to Congress. I think there's some shenanigans.
For sure.
I think tomorrow Trump is going to sign the bill to release the Epstein files. And then eventually the Epstein files will come out and it'll be a whole lot of redacted.
I think so.
I don't think there was anything in the bill that had them all to be, I don't think they can ask for them all to be unredacted. But I think you'll be seeing a lot of pages with just blacked out. Yeah. It's probably going to be a lot of shenanigans.
It's not going to be anything we don't know. It's going to be like the Ashley Madison list. Okay, well, we already thought they were gross. So, okay. Do you know what I mean?
Like, oh.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Because what are you going to do with this now? You can't blackmail them if it's redacted or it's out there. What are you going to do? I mean, that's why you take people on foreign trips when they first get into office, so they vote differently when they come back. Then you got stuff on them. Now it's all out there.
Yeah.
So I like that plausible deniability. This is all I have. I mean, it's just like a kid with their teacher. I didn't hear you say that because you were in the bathroom, but it's on the board.
Right.
You know, like do your homework, math lesson 54, all the problems.
I never heard you. You never said it.
You didn't say it. Yeah. That's a perfect parent tactic.
Mm-hmm.
This is all I have.
And it works.
Every time.
And if you can be charged with like lying to Congress and go to jail, it's the perfect workaround. We'll see. So you think Trump signs it? I mean, he has no choice. But
yeah, he's going to sign it. Yeah. I think he's just wanting to get this over with. But yeah, they're definitely not going to release anything groundbreaking. There may be some weird stuff that people go, what? And then it gets a headline or two, but nothing substantial will come from it.
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is that funny? What? Is anybody with Alabama ties on that list? Or
Yes.
In this?
Who?
Oh, do you know who?
No.
You said that very quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
We will find out if it's not redacted.
Just the odds.
If it's not blacked out.
Everybody, may the odds be ever in your favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me,
But no,
I'm on the Epstein
I mean,
file.
I'm just saying, based on statistics, the odds, the probability, probably one person with ties to Alabama. Maybe it's that I'm not going to say the name of the town. I'm not going to say it. Maybe they're from Slap Out or something. And they haven't been back in 50 years.
Wait, what's the skillet lick?
Lick Skillet.
Lick skillet.
Lick Skillet, Alabama has got somebody on the Epstein file. So yeah.
That's right next to Lacey
Yes or
Spring.
no? Yes or no? On somebody from Alabama on the list.
Nah.
Allison?
Of course.
Of course. We'll see. We'll bet chocolate on it.
Good chocolate. Dark chocolate. I don't do that milk chocolate.
God, dude. What is wrong with
I
you?
told you could have that bag. Y'all, thanks for joining us today. We made it through another day. We'll see you tomorrow. We've got Chairman John Wall coming on. tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. Y'all have a good night.